What's up, guys? My name's Alexis, your host with Praises in the Pod, and I am so excited to be here with Miss April Dawn. She is involved at the Potter's House, and you've seen this area before, so you know that I'm back at the Potter's House. So it's going to be an incredible, incredible episode. We're going to start off in prayer, and then we're going to jump right in. So here we go. Lord, Heavenly Father, just thank you. Thank you for all that you have done in our lives, Lord God. Thank you for sending these people into my life that I get to look up to and get to just get all the knowledge and grow with them and let them just tell me things that maybe I've never experienced, or just you've placed them specifically in our lives. And we just thank you for that. I just pray that you calm our nerves. I pray that you speak to us and through us and let this episode glorify you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Miss April Dawn, I'm really excited about this because I've never really had a one-on-one conversation with you, right? Like every single time I've been here, it's a graduation or something. I finally got to sit in one of her groups, which, you would just love, y'all. It is so amazing. But we want to talk about you today. So tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your childhood, growing up, what that looked like.
I grew up in Griffin, Georgia, with 4 girls in the family and my parents. My dad was a high school band director, so we grew up with a lot of music and healthy family, happy, fun family. I'm just so grateful. We weren't big churchgoers until my mom decided she wanted to sing in a choir, so we started to go to church.
Okay.
And when we were in high school, I had such an interest in who Jesus was and wasn't really finding out about him. But I was so curious, and my freshman year in college, went to a campus crusade for Christ.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing. It was like, finally, I find out who this Jesus is. But I became crazy Jesus freak. And my parents, mostly my mom, was so embarrassed. The church had me leave with another guy named Robert that was my sweetheart. We were kicked out of our church because we were Jesus freaks. This was back in the mid-'60s.
Wow. I really relate to that too, of just, you find Christ and you are just adamant about everything, and the first time when my mom came to the Potter's House, I was like that. Like, I felt it. I'm like, I got to tell everybody. And I started beating my husband over the head with it, like you just can't control it, so I totally get that.
Oh yeah. I was just, didn't understand, why I was different, because my grandparents didn't go to church or aunts. I knew nothing in my family. It was just me. And I didn't understand why I was so set apart. And one day my mom called me into the bedroom to talk to me, and she was crying, and she said, "It's all my fault that you're a Jesus freak." And I'm like, "Mom, what are you talking about?" And she said, I had 2 miscarriages before you, and I carried you to 9 months. And the doctor said the cord had wrapped around your neck and she would deliver a baby that wasn't alive.
Oh, wow.
And my mom said, I prayed for the first time. And I said, "God, if you're real, if this baby can live, I'll give the baby back to you." And then she cried and said, "It's all my fault. You're a Jesus freak."
Wow. Just day one, you're a miracle.
Yeah, it was explanation. It was answered, why I was different. All of my sisters are believers. Both my parents are believers. And so it worked out beautifully.
Wow. That is such a beautiful story. Yes. So you're in high school when you go to this crusade. What does early years look like for you?
Early years look like peace, fun, great family, lots of love. So it was an easy flow for me to, understand the goodness of God, and that everything was pretty much like a fairy tale. It was just happy and fun.
Yeah.
Growing up with my family. But when Robert, who became a Jesus freak with me, went to his college and found Jesus too, we set the world on fire, and we didn't know what we were doing.
Now, your husband now is Robert. Are we talking about the same Robert?
Yes.
No
Yes,
way.
the same Robert.
I did not know that.
As he proposed to me, and I said yes. We were both 19.
Uh-huh.
And my mom said, "No, you will not marry a Jesus freak."
Wow.
And she says, "He'll never have any money, so you can't marry him."
Uh-huh.
So I said, "Okay." Broke my heart and broke his heart. And we went our separate ways from there.
Oh, wow. That was at 19.
Yeah. And we had been friends since we were 10th grade, high school sweethearts. But I went to Auburn and got involved with Campus Crusade there. And he went to Gordon Military School and then went on to Florida to school. And we lost touch for 25 years. And then we found each other again 40 years later.
Wow.
We've been married now 15 years. And it's like we've always been married.
Yeah.
We don't remember. We both had difficult marriages. And we both laugh and say everybody's always liked us our whole life. We've always been real popular, but there's two people in the world that don't like us, and we married them.
Mm.
So that's sort of our story.
Yeah.
But
So you said 20 years that y'all were separated. So what happens all in those 20 years? You said that you were married previously.
Yeah,
so maybe
was
tell us a
married.
little bit about that.
yeah, I married the guy that my mom picked out for me. She really liked him. He wasn't big. He wasn't a Jesus freak, but he came from a lot of money, and that was important to my mom. And we got married after a year and a half of meeting each other, and he wanted to be a missionary with me and have lots of kids, and we were so much alike, and he was a lot of fun. And we get married, and the night before our wedding, he said, "I don't love you. I'm not showing up." And I said, "My mama is going to be so mad at me. You better show up."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so with that is the beginning of our marriage.
Mm.
And he got abusive on the honeymoon.
Wow.
And he said, "I don't love you. I never did. We don't believe in God and we'll never go to church."
And that's a big, huge flip, right?
It
Because
was huge.
a year and a half, he's saying, I want to be a missionary, all this stuff. And now the night before the wedding, the mask comes off.
Yes, it did.
Mm.
And he said, "I just wanted to win," was his answer. And then with my positive attitude and my trust in God, I'm like, "That's okay. We'll make this work."
I can change him.
Yeah.
And the Lord will change him,
Exactly.
you know? Like,
Exactly.
oh, I can just
Yeah.
hold on. I'm going to push through and do, because God, you got me here, you know? Yeah. I've talked about this too. Like, just so many times we do think we can change people, but God is the only one that can truly change them. So, like,
True.
when we see those red flags, when we see those things, take them for what they are, you know? Like, yes, God can perform miracles, but also sometimes we're stepping out of his will and doing things our own, you know? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
that's
right off
what I
the
did.
rip.
Yeah, right off. And I was married to him for 38 years. And after about 25 years, I thought he was going to kill me because he was very abusive. And I spent all my time trying to keep it from people. My parents didn't even know.
Oh, wow.
And so at 25 years, I got the kids. Our kids were in high school, and we came from North Carolina. We had started a whitewater rafting business, rock climbing business, and snowboard shop in Banner Elk, North Carolina. But I took the kids and came home to Georgia and told my folks what had been going on all these years. And while I was there, I'm like, I need to find friends, college roommates, because I had lost me. I was not me at all. And that's part of my heart for parents that don't understand their kids.
Yeah.
When they change like that, there's something going on. So I decided I'd find my college roommate and went to Atlanta and found her and spent time with her and went to church with her because she said that, she found Jesus because of her crazy roommate back at Auburn.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we were in church, and a high school friend came up to me in her church in Atlanta and said, "Robert lives here in Atlanta. You should call him." So that afternoon I called him. and we hadn't spoken in 25 years. So that was we had a conversation, and he said, "You're so lost." He said, "I'll find you."
Yeah.
He was a pastor at First Baptist Atlanta, and he said, "I'll find you because no one knows you like I know you." So he got a 800 number for me, just me, and we talked on the phone every day.
Wow.
It was like life was being put back into me with these conversations until he said, "No more. We can't do this. We're both married.
Oh.
No more phone conversations." So, and I begged him. I said, "You're my life. You're my lifeline. We have got to talk on the phone." And he says, "No more. We cannot honor God and do this." And so I said, "Okay, I can do this if it's to honor God. It's the only way I can do it." And we were apart. We didn't speak for 15 years.
So you start speaking, you reconnect, but then it has to be cut off at that point, because it would have led to so much more, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but then another 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years. I started visiting his mom when I would travel from North Carolina back to Georgia. And the first time I called her, she said, "I don't want to see you. You broke my son's heart 25 years ago." Oh, it killed me that she would be that way. And I waited a year and called her back. And I started visiting her once a year. She'd tell me all about Robert's life and the company he started, Personality Insights, and his wife divorcing him. So he lost his church. And so I knew all about his story. And then she was the first one I told that I'd been abused, other than Robert. And she would call Robert and say, "April was here. She cried for 2 hours. I prayed for her." So he knew my story. And it was 15 years, and she was in hospice when I came home, and I went to visit her. She'd been in a coma 5 days. And I walked in, and she came out of her coma and talked to me. And she said, "You had a dream, a ministry in 1968. If you don't grab it now, it won't come back to you." And then slipped back into her coma. So the nurses called Robert in Atlanta and said, "Dr. Rome, your mama came out of the coma. You need to get down here." And 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep in the chair, holding her hand. And I opened my eyes, and he was standing at the end of the bed crying. And he said, "I can't stay away from you any longer." And at that point, we were both divorced.
Wow.
And so, 2 years later,
There y'all
we
are.
get married. Yeah. So it's happy ending.
I love that. So, but I will backtrack just a little bit because you have children, and you're a big advocate for children and everything that goes on in your childhood to get you where you are today. And so, what was the abuse in front of your children? How did that kind of affect you and them with your ex-husband?
Well, I thought they were protected from it. He would say cruel things to them, but they had in secret they had such a fun, loving mama.
Yeah.
And when we left, when I got the children after 25 years, and we left and we drove around the mountains, and me just crying, and they're not understanding what's going on, and we found a bed and breakfast in Bat Cave, North Carolina.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. And it was late, really late, and I knock on the door, and I was a mess. And the woman said, "Yes, you can stay here." And so the kids, and she said, "I don't know what's going on, but I will be in the kitchen all night praying for you." And so the kids and I went upstairs, and I started telling them what was going on, and they started crying. And they said, "Mom, we were always sitting outside the bathroom door, not knowing what to do to save our mama."
So they knew.
So they knew. So we came to Georgia and talked to my folks and started trying to make things work in our marriage, and it just never did.
It just never did. So then, fast forward, we'll get back to with Robert. Tell us a little bit about your early years together then and how that looks like, because you go from this just awful, marriage, just full of abuse and stuff like that. I'm sure you're having to retrain yourself mentally, like, because you're probably insecure from that old marriage, or you feel like I don't really know how to explain it, but you're having to relearn, like, I am lovable. I am worthy of this type of marriage. I am worthy of this type of love. Like, how does that look in that adjustment phase?
Well, I think because we knew each other so well and the freedom of the honesty and the
Yeah.
trusting between us, and because we're such great friends, it was sort of fast forwarded through a lot of that. And then because he's got a degree in psychology and theology, he's had so much experience and he knows me so well, he went right to the point when he would see me going back to that being fearful
Mm.
person. And he would always bring me back to me. So it was really, and it was the Lord too,
Yeah.
because we had missed a lot of years of being in ministry together.
Yeah.
And I think the Lord was like, we're not going to go back to the past. It's gone.
Yep.
And we're moving ahead. And it's been really, and his personality is real similar to mine. So it's just,
Y'all have fun.
yeah, we have fun. We have fun loving Jesus
Yeah.
and each other.
I love that. And so, one of the things that I always talk about on here is personalities. Like, if you have heard me talk on these episodes before, I always bring up personalities, and it's because of Miss April Dawn. And so, when my mom came to the Potter's house, you do a group that we just did. We just got done with it. And so, I would love for you to maybe explain a little bit about what you and your husband do with the personality insights and maybe kind of break it down, because I don't think I do a great job of it. I got the concept, right? But I don't explain it well. And so I would like you to kind of go into that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I love to talk about it. I don't know how people do life without knowing this information. It's so helpful. It's so predictable. So you have situations that you don't know how to handle with a person, emotionally or intellectually. But when you break it down to understanding how they're wired, how they think, it just fast tracks relationships to be really healthy. And the company is called Personality Insights, and we use the DISC model of human behavior. It breaks it down into two parts: outgoing or reserved, which is pretty noticeable with people. You can answer that question pretty quickly with someone you're encountered. Or it's task and relationship, and that takes a few more minutes to discern. If they're all about the procedure, getting a job done, the results of a job, if it's thorough, they're on the task side. And if it's all about caring and sharing and knowing people, feelings, listening, it's on a relationship side. So it breaks it down pretty quickly with those two questions.
Yeah.
And you go from there.
With my first job years ago, it was in sales. And so right before I got that job, they said, here, take this personality test. And so that was the first time that I really ever had anything. And actually, now that I think about it, I got that job a month before Mom came here and started learning about personalities. I just clicked that too. So anyway, they were like, oh, that's great. They did the disc too. They said, you're a high D, so it's going to be awesome, like all this stuff. Well, going to my first conference, and it's a male-driven sales in that aspect. It was beauty sales, which is totally contradicting. You would think it would be women, but it's 100%, or not 100, but a lot of men. And when I got in that room and I noticed that everyone around me was pretty much a D, I switched to my I. Like like you were talking about this earlier in group, is how like when we feel stressed or we get in that situation, we'll maybe go to our secondary, and that's what would happen. I would feel like not as dominant in those, and I would switch. So maybe can you tell us a little bit about each quadrant of those personalities?
Okay. The outgoing task is the D trait. And you can remember that because it's the dominant, driven, determined personality style. And they've got one need, and it's to get results. Now, God was merciful because only 10% of the population is that personality. And we need it in this world.
I did not know that.
We need the generals and police officers and pilots and surgeons. We need the dominant style. It's so important for this world to function, but it can't. But they're so strong, they can't be 50% of the population. It would overthrow the dynamics of a nation. And you can see it in some of the Mideastern countries. It's overthrown by the dominant male personality, and it's just not healthy. So the other task side, I'll go around the circle, the disc. The other outgoing trait is the I, and it's interaction, loves people, loves to have fun, and they have a need of being recognized. See me.
Yeah.
Be my friend.
Life of the party, if you will.
Life of the party. And that's the relational outgoing personality. And the percentages are about 25%, 20 to 25%. And the world needs fun.
Yeah. So still a smaller portion of people too.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the S is a reserved trait, and it's caring, servant, sharing. It's very sweet, sensitive, feeling personality. And they're the heart.
Yeah.
And they're the 35% of the population. So most of the population, the world, is in that relational side. The I and the S is about 65% of people in the world are of that personality. So it's sort of the soft place that people get to land.
Yeah.
Mostly. So the S's are your nurses, your school teachers, the caring, patient population.
Yeah.
And they have a real need for peace and joy and quiet and no conflict.
Yeah.
And then
anything but conflict.
Yes.
When because I told you earlier, like I work at my church and we have a lot of S personalities in there. And so like I've tried to learn, you're right, because I am just so like there. I'm just in your face. And so like I'm trying to really reel it in, like, because I'll ask questions and they're trying to, think thoroughly about it, but also like not start a conflict. Like I can see that they want to say no to whatever I'm saying, but they're trying to do it in a way that's not going to stir the pot or stir something and get it going. And so that has been very hard because I'm also trying to stop being as blunt about things or like just saying this way or the highway, so that is so good to know, about personalities. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, when you understand that, you realize people aren't against you.
Yeah.
They're for themselves, but they're not against you. And that's so important because we think that guy on the highway that cut you off is against you. He didn't even see you. He's just for himself. He's in a hurry. And so it helps us with being tolerable with people that are different.
Yeah.
All right. And the last one is the C. And it's the cautious type, and it's reserved, and it's task. And they want to know all the information they need to know to make the right decision. And they come across as cold sometimes because they're just about wanting to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
And not relational at all. And so, and they're only 20 to 25% population. So if you break it down on the task side, it's just 1/3 of the population. Relationship is 2/3 of the population.
Now my husband is 100% a C, 100% a C, and me, I am not reading them directions. I'm not reading them. And I don't understand why I have to give instructions. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, we'll cook together. And, he's got the teaspoons out and he's doing it and all this stuff. And I'm like I just dumped salt. And so, like, it has truly been an adjustment in trying to learn his personality, especially in a marriage.
Yeah.
Especially in a marriage, because his C now is completely different than his C before Christ. And so, like, I just shared with our podcasters and you too, like, he just came to Christ. And so when you start, that's a whole different type, because prior, you may know your personality, but it's everywhere, or maybe like it's too much or something like that. So how would you recommend maybe marriage in these personalities? Like how do you use this as your advantage, basically, maybe?
Well, first of all, is we do a lot of marriage training.
Yes.
And we know that after people are married, they'll pay attention to you. And after they've been married a long time, they'll still pay attention to your teaching the disc information. For newlyweds and pre-marriage training, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's just stupid love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. But we still try, and we say, this will happen. Because of your personalities, expect this. And this is how you work around it and put understanding into it. So we can get ahead of it a little bit, but it's still hard because there is something about opposites attracting.
Yeah.
It's almost like I need what he is. And you were probably thinking, he's so organized and he's so in control of so many things, and I really need that in my DI life.
Yeah.
And that was attracted to you. It almost like it completed you, but there's no human being that's going to complete you.
Absolutely not.
No.
That's Jesus Christ.
Yes, that is. That is.
No, like I'm about to tear up right now because I'm like, wait, you know my life?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? But that is so true because he is also older than me, and so he just had such a mature spirit about him and cautious, like he just seemed like he had it together. And for me, if I have an idea, I'm running with it. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to try it out. If it fails, it fails, like whatever. But with him, it gave me that stability and that like reeling it in. But also with two task-oriented people that are completely different task-like I'm just checking the boxes, he wants to thoroughly check a box like the right way. So tell me what you would observe without even knowing a whole lot about us. What would be like maybe some conflicts and good things about a D and a C together?
Well, the D is going to be outgoing and wants results without reading the manual.
Yeah.
And the C is going to want to make sure it's the right decision to be made or the right results, and it's going to take some checking into and take some time. So after a few weeks of being married to your D and his C, it's going to become a problem. And unless you understand that he's not against you and that you're not against him, it's your personalities. And you both begin to adjust to each other's personalities. So, and I don't teach that he needs to change to be more like you.
Yeah.
No. And you do not need to give up yourself to be more like him. That's not what we're asking. And the word is visit. Visit his personality and understand that he wants to get this right, whether it's making a peach cobbler or frying a hamburger. He wants to do it right, not be right. But you come across as, it doesn't matter. Just do it. Just do it now. We're in a hurry. We've got somewhere to be. And instead saying to him, I love you. I appreciate you. I need to have more of you in my life and how I think. And then all of a sudden, he will begin to say that to you. I love your energy. I love your fun personality. I want to be more like that. So forgive me when I forget. And let's just help each other remember why did we fall in love in the first place?
Yeah.
And get back to that place. You're not against me, and you're actually for me, is how you're going to change. It just needs to begin with understanding your personalities, and you both do that now.
Yeah.
And then working it out. And it will take maybe a lifetime of remembering to do all those things.
Yeah. I'm sure it will because, we all evolve and we become more mature hopefully we're maturing,
Yeah.
But, spiritual maturity is just like you really start seeing those personalities for who they are instead of trying to change them. Like, I truly have tried to lean into that more recently, like, especially with him being on this side of Christ, like, I want to love and be that S so bad. It's so hard for me, but I'm, like, trying to visit that more because I know that's something maybe he also needs is, like, especially on on this side, like, showing that love of Jesus and being that person for people. Like, we really do need S. I lack S so much because that's just not something, but I want to visit it to be more like Christ, show that love.
Sure.
Yeah. I wish we could do a whole segment, a whole series, if you will, about personalities because it's just something that I love so much. But I know we're on like more of a time crunch. So maybe what is something, maybe some points or some real big takeaways that you would want someone on the other end of this to hear and be like, I need to dive into personalities. I need to learn more about that. Oh, actually, hold up. Because when I came to this side of Christ, before I did horoscopes, right? Like, I wanted to know about horoscopes. The first question I asked people was like, when's your birthday? And then I got to the side and it's like, no, 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 no. We don't do that. Like, personalities is what we would do on this side of Christ and learning that. So maybe jump into that a little bit and your main takeaways. Okay. Okay.
All right. I think that we are soul and spirit.
Mhm.
And I think to differentiate that, I think we can look at our soul is our personality. We're one of a kind. There's not another you in this world. And the statistics say in 400,000 people, you will find someone similar to you.
Mm.
And that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And to believe that God has you here in 2025 to be you doing this podcast to serve Him and the purpose He's given you is pretty cool. And to know that your personality, even in heaven, it will not change. You are you. You are only you. And no one else is like you.
I love that.
So God has arranged a plan for you, specific for you for this time. And you need to search it and find what it is. And most of us, I don't think really do. I think we get close and God is okay with that because He'll make it good, whatever. But as we know, in this world, there will be trouble. And there's an enemy trying to pull us away from ourselves. One of my favorite thing about our assessment from Personality Insights is there's 2 graphs that are revealed in the assessment. One is an environmental graph, and that's who you have become in your environment. How has your environment pulled you away from who God designed you to be? So you have an environmental graph that's revealed and the basic, which is your DNA. It is you. That graph will rarely change at all. As many times as you take it, that graph will stay the same. But when you put the 2 together, it can teach you so much, especially here where I teach at the Potter's House with women that have been so injured by their environment. It tells me their whole story. And then I compare it to their DNA, who God designed them to be. And I always end up by saying, we're going to find this girl and bring her back to God's purpose in her. And within really days of being with the women here, you see the light coming back on and and they'll say, I remember her. I was that when I was a little girl. As tears are coming down their face. And that's worth all the trouble I went through for 38 years to get to understand this information of how the environment would change you.
Yep.
That I can see that change in these girls so quickly. So that's one really good reason to use this assessment as part of not just information about how you're wired and where your purpose is going to take you, but know where you've been and how you were injured.
Earlier when we were in group, there was something that I really took away. One, the snake thing, which I love that. But anyway, it's scientifically proven, and they've done things that snakes are supposed to have legs. And I thought that was absolutely crazy because if you know back in Genesis, he strikes the serpent and says, you will be on your belly for the rest of time, But like that is just so crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
squirrel. The second thing was saying when we go to heaven, we're going to rule and reign. And that is something I've never thought about before in the aspect of our spirit leaving and going to heaven and our personality remaining the same. You said we're not just going to fly around, and be like, oh, like we're still going to have purpose. And wow, that really just set me back. Like I have never thought about that in that capacity before, like who we are in our spirit today. And when we get to heaven, we're going to have purpose. Like, oh, that was just so amazing.
I know. Isn't that great?
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I love the thought that this is just rehearsal. We get the real life when we take the last breath here on earth and we take the next breath, we'll be there. And so it's not that we're going to forget everything that we had here. We're going to be different there because of what we've gained from the rehearsal. What would every play be like if they didn't have a rehearsal?
Yeah.
To learn their mistakes and what they need to do to improve.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this is about. In this world, there'll be trouble, and we see it all around us. But there won't be trouble there. Can you imagine? And we will rule and reign. There'll be governors and mayors of our towns and states and school teachers and lots of little children running around, all these aborted babies, and they're going to be there.
Yep.
And there'll be some of us that'll be taking care of those aborted babies, which we're designed to be. So it's going to be interesting to be there. It's going to be even more glorious than I can even imagine.
Oh, our minds can't even comprehend it.
No, we
can't even fathom how glorious it's going to be.
It's going to be so amazing with no trouble and no tears and no worries, no aging. My husband, Robert, says he believes that we're all going to be about the age of Jesus when he died at 33, because that's the healthiest year of our lives. Did you notice? When we're in the best shape in our physical being is at 33. So I'd love to be 33 forever.
Wow, I haven't even got there yet. So
no, I know.
I'm still coming.
Yeah.
All right. So as we begin to close, maybe there's something I've skipped over or didn't know. Maybe God's prompting you to say something more specific or something that He's revealed to you more recently. Maybe you can close out like that.
Well, there's two things, and this I've just learned, that when the Hebrew word for God is Yahweh, and it is spelled only with consonants. The Hebrew language doesn't use vowels. So it's just a W, a Y, and a H, and a W, and a H. And that's how it's spelled. And the Hebrew people didn't even say it out loud. It was such a reverent name for God, so they didn't. And it's just breathed. And so when you inhale, it sounds like Yahweh. An inhale and the exhale. I didn't know that.
I just learned that more recently too. And when they did that, I just was blown away.
I was too. I was just blown away. And it's just so true. And so the first, when God breathed into man, He breathed his breath and said Yahweh, said His name, and breathed His name into me.
Wow.
I was like you, it just blew me away. And now when I have any thought in my head that of concern, because I don't worry, my personality doesn't work. So, but sometimes I'm concerned. I'll stop and I'll just go, and I'll just inhale and exhale. And to know that my last exhale, inhale and exhale on earth will be saying God's name. And my first in heaven, I'll be saying His name. And that's just so beautiful. Sometimes I'll see someone and I know that they're stressed. There's a problem going on. I'll touch their arm and I'll go, and I'll breathe God's name as I touch their arm. And it's my way of a quick prayer for them. So I'd like to pass that on to the audience.
Absolutely.
It is such a gift to know that we can do that as we just walk through.
That also just sparked something of how long have you been walking with Christ now?
Since I was 15.
Since you were 15. So just to learn that in your recent time of, walking this out, like we always have more to learn. There's always ways that we can grow closer with Christ and learn more about him. And it's just so amazing, that no matter how long we've been walking with him, even Miss Shuri learns different things, new things, and just being obedient to being disciplined more so to continue to learn.
Yeah.
And then
it's just gifts. We continue to give gifts like that. And of course, Robert's been to 5 different colleges. I mean, he's got so many degrees. He knows, less and less about more and more every day. But it's still him too, because he's just so knowledgeable about scriptures. But just see the newness and like a little boy in him just come alive when he learned something new about Christ.
Yes.
And that's just, can you imagine walking through heaven and Christ come up behind us and grab our hand and we walk together? It's just going to be indescribable. We can't even describe it now. But just for the audience that doesn't know him, please get to know him. The other thing is just remember Proverbs 18 is the words we use. And pick words of life to give to someone. So if you're married to a C and you have no C in your personality, find the C words. And we have lists of them in our products of how do you talk to a C. So we have our company's personality insights, and you can go online to our website and see hundreds of books my husband has written on how do you marry a C and you're a high I, things like that. And we also have materials that say for teenagers, this is what a D personality will be good at doing.
You actually sent me some books for my small group, and I had my girls do it, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And I was like, this is stuff that you're good at. Like, this is maybe a career that you want to look at. They were in middle school, so, but still, it gave them a better understanding.
Yeah.
So,
okay, good.
Yes.
Good deal.
All right, guys, I really hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I have. This has been absolutely incredible. Like I said, there is just so much you can learn about personality. So I really encourage you to go check that out and look and try to grow in this arena of knowing how to conversate with people and just be a better you, being a better friend, being a better everything. And above all else, growing closer with Christ also. So, yep. Anyway, guys, this has been great. Stay tuned, stay blessed, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.